Hello, everyone. I'm here today, as you heard, with Superintendent Paul MacIntyre of Organized Crime Enforcement, Toronto Police, members of the Toronto Police Drug Squad, and the Solicitor General of Ontario, the Honourable Michael Kerzner. Thank you all for joining us here today. In front of me is the culmination of incredible police work and teamwork that resulted in the largest seizure of cocaine in the history of the Toronto Police Service. 835 kilograms of cocaine that is alleged to have the hallmarks of coming from the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. What you see before you has an estimated street value of $83 million. This is the result of Project Castillo, an extensive joint forces investigation into drug importation and trafficking in the Greater Toronto Area. The investigation was led by the Toronto Police Service Drug Squad major projects with the assistance from other partners, including the York Regional Police Service, the Canada Border Services Agency, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Windsor Border Integrity Unit, and the Criminal Intelligence Service, Ontario. The collaboration with CBSA and the RCMP is important here because we know that these drugs traveled all the way from Mexico over the United States southern border and then made their way here to Canada, where we stopped and seized them. This investigation required months of effort. I can tell you that getting 835 kilograms of cocaine off of our streets will make a huge difference for the well-being of our communities. And not only our communities here in Toronto, but across the country, as we know that some of these drugs were destined to other regions, from coast to coast to coast. When we get illicit drugs off our streets, we literally save lives. We protect people, we prevent violence, and we break up criminal networks. This will always be a priority for us. I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank our partners and the incredible members of the Toronto Police Drug Squad, as well as the sworn and civilian members who work with them. This type of work takes courage, dedication, and teamwork, which time and time again, our members demonstrate as they serve our communities. Long days, time away from their families, and putting service before self. That's what I know you do each and every day. And for that, you have my and the entire organization's gratitude. Thank you for what you do. You truly are incredible people and incredible members of the Toronto Police Service. And finally, I would like to thank the Ontario government, the Ministry of the Solicitor General, and the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario that helped make this investigation possible. Collaboration is critical to effective policing, and we will keep working together to deliver even more results in the weeks and months to come. Thank you, and now I'll invite the Solicitor General, Minister Kerzner, please.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. It's great to be here with Chief Demkiw and Superintendent MacIntyre of the Organized Crime Enforcement and some of our great, brave men and women of the Toronto Police Service. I'd like to congratulate them and their partners from York Regional Police, CBSA, and the RCMP on this historic success of Project Castillo. Through this strategic effort, they've stopped dangerous and harmful drugs from reaching our streets and dealt a major blow to organized crime. Today's announcement is a direct result of their skill, professionalism, and hard work. To do their work and to keep us safe, law enforcement needs the tools and resources to do their job safely and effectively as possible. Our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford, is making sure that they have those resources. And that's why I'm so proud that we're able to support this operation, including through the Criminal Intelligence Service Ontario, CISO. It's just part of our overall effort to protect our borders, to stop the flow of illegal drugs and guns, and prevent human trafficking. Ontario is stepping up to bolster efforts to detect, to deter, and prevent illegal activity along the border, using drones and aircraft and canine units and specialized technology. And of course, the hard work of dedicated police officers from the OPP and many other police services, municipal police services, and First Nations police services. This effort, Operations Deterrence, is helping keep the people of Ontario safe. And it responds to concerns in the U.S. as well. Our concrete measures are protecting communities on both sides of the border. And lastly, congratulations once again to the Toronto Police Service and everyone else who was involved in the investigations that led to today's announcement. As I've said, our government will always ensure that law enforcement has the tools and technology that it needs. There has never been a clearer and more modern-day precedent of a premier, of a leader of a provincial government that is more concerned with the welfare, with the safety of all Ontarians morning, noon, and night. We will always have the backs of everyone that keeps Ontario safe. Thank you. Merci, miigwech. And now I'd like to call Superintendent MacIntyre.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Chief Demkiw and Solicitor General Kerzner. I'm pleased to provide additional details on this significant operation, Project Castillo, which has led to the largest seizure of cocaine in the Toronto Police Service history. Among the highlights of this investigation was the seizure of 475 kilograms of cocaine in a single truck crossing at the Canada-US border. The achievement reflects the exceptional work of the Toronto Police Drug Squad Major Project Section, along with our valued law enforcement partners. The seizure of this magnitude cannot be understated in its significance. It represents a blow to organized crime and a meaningful step in protecting the safety and well-being of not only Toronto residents, but communities right across Canada. Illicit drugs like cocaine are not simply commodities for criminal organizations. They are the drivers of violence, addiction, and tragedy in our communities. By removing over 835 kilograms of cocaine from circulation, we have disrupted the supply and created a ripple effect. Following this seizure, the street price of cocaine in Canada has increased by 20%, signaling a direct impact on the distribution networks. This reduced accessibility means fewer opportunities for these drugs to enter and infiltrate vulnerable communities. As you know, the illicit drug supply fuels Canada's ongoing public health crisis. Each kilogram of cocaine removed from our streets represents lives potentially saved from overdose. Drug trafficking is also inseparably linked to gun violence and organized crime. Seizures like this weaken the financial powers of criminal organizations and disrupt their operations. This success was made possible through the collaboration of several agencies. Specifically, I want to thank the RCMP and the Canada Border Services Agency for stopping the primary shipments of 475 kilograms when it crossed the US-Canada border. The York Regional Police, who worked closely with us to execute multiple search warrants across the GTA. And of course, the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario, whose funding supported this complex investigation. To date, 6 individuals have been arrested, including 4 Canadians and 2 Mexican nationals. And we are still seeking 3 individuals who we believe, we're still seeking 3 individuals. One who we believe is still in Canada. His name is Robert Nolan, 60 years of age, of Niagara Falls. But we're also seeking 2 gentlemen by the name of Alexis Arroyo and Marco Rivera, both 31. We believe they may have fled back to Mexico. We encourage anyone with information on the whereabouts of any of these 3 people to please phone your local police detachment or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Thanks to the efforts of the Toronto Police Drug Squad, our partners, and the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario, this made this project a great success. 835 kilograms of cocaine will never reach our streets, and countless lives will be safer as a result. Thank you, and we're now ready to take any questions.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah, sure. Shauna with City News. So you say that almost half of this was confiscated at the border.
That's correct.
Can you go into more detail about what led to the truck? I don't know if there was undercover officers part of the investigation. Just if you could just describe a little bit more about this months-long investigation and how it ended at the border.
Yeah, I can't really speak too much about the evidence, of course. But what I can tell you is that back in August, the Toronto Police Major Drug Section got some information on some cocaine being distributed in the GTA. That investigation started when somebody tried to ship cocaine through a shipping company. We got involved. We started to investigate. At some point, we realized that a 18-wheeler was coming from Mexico through the United States up into Canada. It traveled through the States, got to our border. When it crossed into Canada, we asked the CBSA and the Mounties to stop it for us. When it was stopped, we seized the 475 kilograms. In and around that time, we were also executing search warrants, at which time we were arresting several people in what we would call stash houses with considerable amounts of cocaine. So what we believe we have here, really the people that we arrested, are what we would call some very high-level distributors responsible for the distribution of this cocaine, which would have went right across Canada, we believe.
President Trump obviously has been, talking a lot about our borders and saying that a lot of drugs are coming from Canada going into the United States, and this is part of the problem when it comes to, the tariff threats. Is that the case? Is Canada, pushing drugs over into the United States, or is it more the other way around? Anything you can
I think that'll be a Chief Myron question.
So first of all, I think, I got to acknowledge this is something that, in light of recent current events, is a relevant point of discussion in our communities. But I'd remind everybody that I've stood at this very podium talking about the influx of criminal handguns on our streets, of which the vast majority emanate from the United States of America. So border security and the interdicting of illicit products across the border between Canada and the United States is something we've been laser focused on for some time. This police service has long been invested in doing our work to disrupt criminal activities that go any which way across the border, recognizing that as a border with a lot of trade with the United States, we have to be mindful of illicit products. And in this case, we're talking about a massive cocaine seizure. And as I said, our city has a considerable issue regarding gun violence. The vast majority of those crime guns emanate out of the United States. So I think the conversation for us has been and continues to be our shared responsibility with all our partners to ensure the safest possible borders, to ensure the safety of our communities here in Toronto.
Is there reason to believe that this organized crime ring has moved drugs over the border successfully before?
Yes, I don't think this was their first time, but hopefully it's their last time.
Any other questions?
Toronto Police a few months ago helped the RCMP and FBI take down the alleged international cocaine smuggling operation apparently run by Ryan Wedding and Andrew Clark, which had a similar MO to what you're talking about today. Is there any connection between those two investigations?
We have no link right now to that investigation with any of this.
And
Can I just add a little follow-up? It's not specific to the investigations, but just to highlight again that these investigations that you just spoke of one and we're here discussing today really highlights the partnership and integration of effort that exists across the law enforcement communities, both here municipally, provincially, nationally, and internationally with our American partners. And we see time and again, and today a specific example of what partnership and collaboration looks like to disrupt the international flow of illicit goods.
And just since we're on this topic, can I just ask you whether that investigation in 2024 involving TPS, how it impacted the flow of cocaine into the GTA?
No, I don't have any information on that right now.
I have one question. You mentioned the name of the criminal organization. Can you say it again and what we know about this criminal organization? How long has it been operating in the GTA and Mexico and
The cartel.
the cartel?
I'll give that to the superintendent.
This load of drugs, we believe, has the hallmarks of being associated to the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. That's a very violent cartel operating out of Mexico. How long it's been operating in Canada, I can't say for certain, but we do believe that the cartel is associated to this, and that we did have some members associated to the cartel overseeing the operations of this drug distribution network here in Toronto.
2 more questions? One more question?
I mean, what does Jalisco continue to have operations here? How prominent are they in Southern Ontario?
Well, they were prominent. I mean, if you look at what we have here right now, this is a large load. The search warrants that we did, I think got us 360 kilograms in just hitting a couple of stash houses. They are significant. Hopefully we really did some damage to them with this. Certainly they will continue, but this hurt them. This will sting a bit. Right now the major drug project section is aware of them. We know how they operate. We're looking for them now. So hopefully they are weakened by this, and we'll continue to weaken them if in fact they try to continue this distribution network.
I just want to add to that, building on the issue, and it's really to reassure Torontonians and indeed Canadians that your police services remain committed to making sure that we do everything we can to disrupt, dismantle, and otherwise frustrate organized criminality that's impacting our communities. And today we're talking about this particular cartel, and whether it's stronger or weaker, the message that I want to make sure people understand is that we're committed to doing everything we can to get in the way of all organized criminality that is taking advantage of anybody in this country and specifically in this city.
Solicitor General, would you like to say something?
I just have a question.
Sorry, you want to say something?
Sorry.
Well, I just want to say, when we look at the collaboration on this project to take these drugs off the street, it goes to the strength of our Toronto Police Service. I'm a proud MPP of Toronto. Toronto Police Service is my police service, and it has great command leadership that was able to bring us to this day. But when we go to the Premier's seriousness of how we look at fighting crime, and having a zero tolerance for people that think it's okay to wreak havoc on our streets. That's why I say many times, and the Premier says it too, we have room for you. We will lock you up. We will find you. We will make sure that there is nothing more important than our inherent right to live safely in our own homes and communities. And this is fundamental. Premier Ford's moving forward with Operation Deterrence is another message to all of Ontario that we will lead. We will work with our federal partners. We will work with our American partners. And that's exactly why in December I was at the border in Niagara region to see for myself, to go to Kingston and Gananoque to the border crossing, and next week I'll be in the Windsor-Sarnia area, followed by Cornwall. We are continuing to engage with all partners, with all stakeholders, but as an Ontario government, we will not rest. We will not accept the status quo. We will not see the goalie post moved. We will prioritize our public safety morning, noon, and night, and Ontarians can be assured of that.
One more question?
I just had a question if any of the people arrested or wanted are, are connected to potentially any homicide investigations or wider criminal activity beyond the illicit drugs. Are you looking right now at linking them to other active criminal investigations? And is there any, potential, homicides that may be solved through this? Or
There's nothing right now that would indicate that they're involved in anything, i.e. homicides. The charges that we've laid right now regarding the drugs are all that we think that they are responsible for right now.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.